Inside Kenan Stadium, I'm Ross Martin from Inside Carolina, joined by Adam Smith of Inside Carolina. We just sat through a good hour and a half of Mack Brown, Phil Longo, and Gene Chizik. There was a difference between how Longo's press conference went and kind of how Gene Chizik's press conference went. Adam, your initial thoughts on talking to those two guys after two very different performances in the 63-61 win at Appalachian State?
Two very different performances and two very different, two contrasts, I thought, just watching them come in and talk to us today like they always do on every Monday. We get to talk to Mac and we get to talk to the coordinators, and it's always enlightening things. And, I mean, if you're Phil Longo, you have so many things to like. The offense puts up 63 points. Drake May throws for 352 yards, accounts for 5 touchdowns. There's, the running backs, the receivers. And then, conversely, if you're Gene Chizik, the personalities were different because you see what they're going through with the units they're coaching, And, that UNC defense gave up 40 points in the fourth quarter and 664 yards throughout the game. So you can understand why Gene was a little less chipper than Phil.
Yeah. It was all positives from Longo. He had so much good things to talk about, whereas Chizik was getting, hit with questions about what they need to improve on in all areas. Let's start with Longo. A lot of good things. Drake is unbelievable. As many people have said, he's way farther along than Sam Howell was. He's more poised. Not to compare him to Sam Howell, but look, the accuracy, the height, the ability to make plays, the ball placement, all that stuff was discussed. Your takeaway on kind of Drake May and where he is after 2 games in a Carolina Blue uniform?
Oh, my gosh. We don't have enough time. I wrote a glowing thing about him for Inside Carolina, coming out of the game. This guy's a star. Mm-hmm. It's been 2 games, and I would say he's, as you have said, his star is rising pretty quickly. I thought Drake was great. I thought Kobe Pacehour was great, coming in with 1 catch for his career and catching 8 balls. I thought the running backs were good. George Pettaway with some of those moves, the 71-yard run that Caleb Hood broke off, the tight ends being involved. Bryson Nesbitt and Kamari Morales. I think UNC scored 8 touchdowns by 7 different guys.
Yeah.
So just a lot to like, led by Drake May.
Yeah, and Longo was talking about how he made some really good throws, or a couple he missed on, like he did against Florida A&M. So there's still room for improvement, but he wasn't surprised how good Drake May's been. But they couldn't have expected him to be this good this early after 2 games. And I thought it was interesting your question about the running backs. First game was Marlon Hampton, and then now back-to-back games, George Pettaway has explosive runs. And then in this game was Caleb Hood, who had the big run that set up UNC for a big touchdown. So it's a wealth of options, both at wide receiver, tight end, running back, and he can kind of pick your poison. He called them toys, right?
He did. I was just about to say that. He's like, so you got a lot of different toys.
Yeah, so everything's all good and sunny for UNC's offense, 63 points. There were no negatives to take away from that. Note Josh Downs and Spencer Rowland are injured and questionable against Georgia State on Saturday. But moving to the defense, 61 points, 40 in the first quarter. We got a dumpster back there. I know you mentioned it was quite a dumpster fire for UNC's defense. But Gene Chizik came out, and look, he's not panicking. He's not panicking. He's poised. He's been here before. This was a first from him. He's been here before. This is a first for him. But he took a bunch of questions and broke it down. He was very aware of the issues and talked through it and knows there's a lot of room to improve.
There definitely is a lot of room to improve. And for our loyal viewers, we thought maybe there's a visual here. You have the dumpster behind us, and maybe the UNC defense can move forward here to better things. But oh my Lord, where it's like, where do you start with the offense with all the good things, and where do you start with the defense with all the issues? Mac made a point several times, a little perturbed maybe, that there were those 4 straight stops that UNC's defense got at App State during the second and third quarters, where they were able to build that lead to 41-21.
He was like, no one wants to talk about the second quarter and third quarter where he held them to 1 touchdown maybe, or the last 4 minutes and the first 4 minutes where they played really well. I was like, well, Mac, he gave up 40 points in the fourth quarter. I was not going to want to talk about that.
It's true, and Mac and Gene both were pointing to the fact that when a play had to be made, that Noah Taylor and Kamen Rucker came up with that stop on the goal line, the 2-point conversion for Chase Bryce. But Gene made the comment, guys have been doing this a long time, and he certainly has. And he said he had never had a defense perform the way that UNC's did with some of the things, all of the things that went wrong in the fourth quarter. And
the things that went wrong, a lot of missed tackles. He stressed that they need to get back and work on missed tackles, fits on the run game, handling the zone blocking scheme that App State has, because Georgia State is a very good rushing team as well. That's a Georgia State, yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. And
secondary.
Then the secondary is an issue that Mack mentioned, and Gene Chizik. How the corners play it off the snap, and then at the end of the route, all those issues were being pointed out by Gene Chizik. I mean, it's a tough week of practice, a tough series of film review as well. Gene Chizik mentioning he watched the game twice on the drive back from Boone, and then once again the next morning. What else about Gene Chizik and the defense?
Happy Labor Day. You get out of that, all of that went on, and then you get on the bus coming down the mountain and you watch the game twice, and then you wake up Sunday morning and watch it again. I thought what you were mentioning about the secondary with things at the line of scrimmage and later on, Gene said the battle can be lost in the first 5 yards if you're a defensive back, and then the last 5 yards, or both. So I just think UNC has so many things across the board to clean up. They pointed out that Cam Kelly, they thought, had a really nice game, that Des Evans may have had the best game he's ever had.
Cedric Gray with 13 tackles, 1 interception. So there's some bright points, but a lot to work on. Gene Chizik called it the perfect storm.
Yes.
A defensive implosion in the fourth quarter. So it's back to basics. It's fixing bad habits. It's tackling. It's the stuff you try to kind of work out in spring practice and in preseason camp.
Mack said he thought defensively they got tired. He said, I thought we wore out. And he was talking about being out there and it being sunny and the sun coming off the turf. I don't know. It was a beautiful day in Boone.
And Mack was pretty mad about the team celebrating with the fans in the crowd, and then made a point to talk about the freshmen who we've yet to identify. They got the taunting penalty on the onside kick that gave App State a short field in the kickoff. We're still going to figure out who that was.
The unnamed freshman.
Yeah, it was a good minute and a half about the freshman who doesn't talk, but was taunting an App State player. Anything else to wrap this up, Adam?
Oh my goodness! I mean,
what a game!
It was it was an amazing.
Set the scene.
It was an amazing game. I mean, you were out there in it. Like we were there 3-4 hours before kickoff. I thought I had a really smart move doing an Inside Carolina radio hit by getting a little corner right by the stadium 3 hours before kickoff, and it was really quiet. And then all of a sudden, the App State team arrived, and I couldn't hear a thing. But I mean, just great scene, record crowd, beautiful weather.
Yeah. And the wind blowing in the open press conference, birds flying by, sun shining, tons of black and gold. It was awesome. They were very welcoming, very hospitable.
Yeah.
There were some rowdy students. I was in there mixing it up. It was a great scene, a great game for college football. It was exciting. It wasn't like, it wasn't 7-3. It was 63-61. UNC gets the win, leaves App State with the victory, moved to 2-0. Georgia State this weekend.
Mack made the comment, it was the biggest game in the history of App State, and then Georgia State, Carolina will be the biggest game in the history of Georgia State home game, because he was saying that Power 5 has never played at Georgia State. So we'll see how this goes.
There you go. For Inside Carolina, Ross Martin, joined here by Adam Smith.